Okay, hello everybody. I believe we are live. Just give me a couple of moments and just to make sure that everything is working fine and we'll get started. Okay, everything seems to be working. If you are watching live and you can hear me and see me loud and clear, I would appreciate if you can put in a little yes in the comment box on the right hand side. And very shortly we can get going. Hi, Sandy Entertainments. Lovely to see you here again, and thank you. Okay, so I believe everything is working fine. Hello, Richard. Good, thanks for your comments. Brilliant. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Uzair, and I'm in the UK, and it is 5 o'clock. And every weekday at 5 p.m. sharp or sharpish, I go live and I go through most of the time setting up Google AdWords, Google Ads tutorials, training. But today we're going to do something a little bit different and touch a little bit about Google Analytics, which I would say 95% of business owners don't pay any attention to it. And a lot of the big marketing companies also don't take into account what is happening in Google Analytics. It's extremely important that you set up analytics properly. And the whole idea of using analytics is to get your campaigns performing better than before, giving you higher ROI. So, before I get started, I'm just going to put in a question to you guys of how many of you are using analytics properly. By that, I mean regularly, not just installing the tag on the website and then thinking that yes, it is installed. And this is what most people think, that oh yes, I've got analytics installed, but if you're not tracking all the right metrics, you don't know what is happening and what's not happening. Majority of the website do have the analytics setup, but I believe only 18% of websites or website owners use analytics the right way. So there's a huge number of people or advertisers who are not using analytics, and this is where you can have a great advantage over your competitors. If they're not tracking the goals properly, audiences, events, then they are flying blind. What I mean by that, imagine, well, let's say you've got a car and you're starting to go from A to B. So if you sit in your car, the first thing you put in is start the car up, and the first thing you look at is the dashboard of your car. And whilst you're driving your car, you are constantly looking at the dashboard. What speed you're traveling at, how much fuel you have got left, are there any red lights or warning lights popping up, and all that information, it is on your fingertips, right? So you can keep a constant eye on it. Now, if I were to blank out that dashboard and then ask you to drive, it will be pretty dangerous and almost impossible to drive without that dashboard. And that's what happens when you drive campaigns, especially online campaigns, no matter what it is: Google Ads, Facebook, Twitter, any kind of online digital marketing campaigns. You're flying blind without a dashboard, because analytics is your dashboard. So when you are running, let's say, Google Ads, you need to link these two together to get the whole idea. You don't want to know what's happening under the bonnet. You just want to keep an eye on the important metrics. Analytics is a minefield, and this is why people don't use it, is because they don't know what to look at. There's so much data, it's data overload, and then you don't use it. But if you get the right metrics which are relevant for you and your business, then you are going to make data driven decisions, and that is extremely important, because you don't want to go by your gut feeling that I think this is going to work, or I think that's going to work. You want the data in black and white, and then you decide whether it is working or not working. So today's session is all about increasing your website conversions. What happens when a visitor comes to your website? Now, all of us are spending our hard-earned cash, energy, resources, trying to drive traffic to our website. Now, majority of that traffic or visitors to the website, on every website, leave away without any conversions. So those unconverted website visitors, we need to remarket to them to bring them back and to say yes, because at that point in time they just weren't ready to say yes. So it's kind of like asking somebody to marry you. If you went straight up to that person and you don't know him or her, and you ask them to marry you, then you will pretty much get a big fat no. And if you do get a yes, then you should be running away from that person, a million miles away, or from that crazy person, because they don't know you and they've said yes to marry you. So how do you get somebody to say yes to marry you? So that's the goal of your, let's say, campaign. The goal is to get married. How do you reach that point? So let's say I go into a bar and see the woman of my dreams who I would like to marry. So if I go up to her and say, would you like to marry me? That's the wrong approach. And this is what most people they do, especially on the website, that you are driving cold traffic. They don't know you. And you will get a no from the first time visitor. So if I were to go up to that person and introduce myself, start a conversation, have a few drinks, exchange phone numbers, perhaps ask her to go out on a date, coffee, dinner, become a couple. These are all the small steps, or the small goals, or what we call the micro goals, which is slowly taking me to that goal of marrying that person. Once we become a couple, then the next step could be will be engagement, or moving in together, getting engaged, and then getting married. So you see how many small steps we need to reach that goal. And what happens most of the time is everybody is trying to bypass these steps and jump straight into that say yes position, where you will probably get a no from that person. So this is what you need to do, is to set up these micro goals on your website first of all. Then you need to track them. And once you know that, wow, I'm getting all these engagement and interaction on my website from these visitors, these are the valuable visitors who are most likely to convert and say yes to my offer. That is in a nutshell, is what we are trying to do, is to create these micro goals. So how do we do that? And that is absolutely through Google Analytics. Before you run any Google Ads campaign, link your Google Analytics to your Google Ads account. First thing you do. Set up all your tracking tags and pixels, and then get started. All right. And just making sure that this is working fine. Okay, hi Mark. Good to see you. Okay, so let's move on to the goals. So as I said earlier on, we are looking at micro goals and macro goals. Micro goals are the small steps. Macro goal is the main goal, where somebody signs up to your offer, buys a product, or whatever your call to action may be. These little goals or the micro goals are things like time on site, pages per session, video views. Did they scroll to the bottom of the page? Did they click any social media share button? Did they sign up to become your email subscriber? And so on. So all of these little goals or micro goals, they need to be tracked on the website. So how do we do that? Okay, so let's look at time on site first. When you're driving traffic from these various sources, Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Quora, SEO, YouTube, you can see straight up in Google Analytics how long each traffic source or the people from these sources are staying on your website. If they're bouncing off after 5 seconds or less than 5 seconds, you know it's junk traffic. You don't want those people, right? They will never convert. No matter what you do, even if you give away free stuff, they will not convert. They're coming to your website and bouncing off. It's like you going into a shop and going out of that shop within 5 seconds. No matter what that shop sells, they will not be able to sell to you. And the shopkeeper will wonder, what the hell is happening? Why aren't they buying my stuff? I have the best products, I have the best price, I've invested heavily in my shop to make it really good, but they're still coming in and going out. Is because they are attracting the wrong audience or the wrong visitor. They want people to come into the shop, go around the different aisles or departments, pick things up, look at the product, the price and everything, and that's the engagement which has started. And those kind of people are more likely to buy, because if I pick up 5 things and I think, okay, this looks good, I'm going to buy one of that product. So time on site is extremely important. If you find that all these channels or these sources who are sending you the traffic and you're still not keeping those people on your website, that means there's something wrong on your site. That means there's something wrong in that shop. Maybe there's some kind of weird smell which is putting people off. The lighting is not good, or it's dirty. That's what putting people off. The same could be said about the website. It's not loading up properly. It's not fast enough. The navigation is a mess. The things are not laid out clearly and precisely, and people won't like the page. They're going to bounce off and go away. So what you want to do is to track how many people come to your website, stay for 10 or more seconds, 30 or more seconds, or 60 or more seconds. Now you can work these out to however you want, because if you got some web pages which are very long to read, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes long, then you can track whatever. This is just for example. I'm not saying that you use the same time. You can make it 60 seconds, 120 or 240 or whatever you want, whatever works for you. Then we know how long they're staying on that website for. The same thing, number of pages per session they visit. So it could be 2 or more pages, 3 or more, or 4 plus. Video views. Now video, this is where video marketing is going to make sense, and it is going to take your marketing from here to right up there. Is when somebody clicks on that play button on your video, on your website or blog, even if they view the video for 10, 15, 30 seconds, they are staying on your website for that long for that time. Google loves websites where the audiences are interacting and engaging, they're spending more time. So if your competitors on your competitor's website, they are staying on average, let's say 10 seconds, but on your website they're staying for 40 seconds, guess what, who's going to get higher rankings? Because Google wants to give the best quality content to somebody. They know that on this website, whenever somebody comes, they are staying there because they like what they see. The person who owns this website is working hard to create good quality content, regular, fresh content, and updating the website very regularly, compared to somebody who's just left it alone for years and months and hasn't updated anything. It's exactly like the shop fronts. The display in the window, they keep changing every week or regularly. It's because those people who are going in front of those shops, if they don't change that display, they will ignore that shop and they will look at that shop. Oh, it's the same things. But if they see something new, they are more likely to come in. And this is what you want to do, is to attract these the bots, the search engines, to keep coming into your website and getting your pages indexed, because you are updating your website very quickly. What we do is, once this video, this live stream is done, or new videos we have created, we update them onto our blog regularly. You can go onto our website and see how often we update. It's because it brings in regular traffic to our website. It brings in more leads and more customers. So video view is something which we need to track. How many people viewed the video for 25%, 50, 75, or 100%, right? If you find that most of your visitors to your website are viewing only 25%, that means, again, it suggests that you are not putting up good quality content. People are putting off, and they don't like after viewing a few seconds or few minutes. You're not holding their attention. So you need to make sure that the quality of your content is absolutely 100%. Okay. So we've got all these. Now you must be wondering, what's all of these, right? I'll come on to that in a second. Other goals you can do is scroll. How many people scrolled, or how far they scroll to the bottom of the page? If your call to action is right at the bottom and they're not scrolling to the bottom, you won't get any conversions, because they don't see that that button or that call to action. So you need to make sure that you can track and see how far down the page they are scrolling. And if they're scrolling down to the bottom, that means they like what they see and they are interacting and engaging. And that is the key. You got to make sure that all these goals are being tracked and they are engaging with your content. And the same with the button click, if they clicked on a like button on your website or something like that. And there are lots of other ones depending on what you've got on your site. But we're going to keep things very simple. Now, if someone stayed on my site for 10 seconds, that does not convert into a dollar value or a pound value. That they haven't purchased anything from me, but they are valuable to me, because I need to make sure that they I can attribute or target those audiences, again, those who are the most engaged. And how do I find that? It's by putting a value for each of these actions which a visitor takes on my website. So for example, if somebody stayed on my site for 10 seconds, I give them a 1 value point. This is not a currency value. It is just a point scoring system, so that I can see which one is better. Another one comes in, stays 30 seconds. I give it to 60 seconds or more. I give it a 4 value point. You can do your scoring system to whatever you like, but I tend to do it like this. Pages per session, 2 or more pages, 1 point, 3 or more, 2 points, 4 or more, 4 points. Video views, same, 1, 2, and 4. And you can do the same thing with scroll. If somebody scrolled down 25%, 50%, 75 or 100, you can give the points and so on. Now let's see which have we got as the most valuable out of this lot. So I've got 3 different visitors to my website, Mr. Orange, Mr. Green, and Mr. Pink, right? So if this is 1, 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 4, right? So they stayed on the site for 10 seconds. I give it 1 point. Plus they went on 3 or more pages, 2 points. They also viewed a video, 75%, 4 points. 6, 7, right? Okay, Mr. or Mrs. Green or Miss Green, whichever. 2 plus 1 plus 2, 5. Mr. Pink or Miss Pink, 4 plus 4 plus 1. Now I can straight away see. I'm going to make this a bit bigger for you guys. So you can see from here that out of these 3 visitors to my site, this group of people or this kind of person is the most valuable to me. So when I'm setting up a remarketing audience, I can target to them the most aggressively. So let's say I'm setting up a remarketing campaign. Just make this a bit smaller. Okay. So if I were to remarket to this audience, let's keep it simple. This is how I would do that. So I will bid the least amount for the least engaged, then increase the bid for this lot, and then I'm going to bid the most aggressively for this lot. So you don't waste your money and budget on the least engaged, but still they are engaged, they visited your website, they just didn't quite stay on for longer or take the actions you wanted them to take. And this is how we set up all these goals and set up our remarketing by increasing the probability of conversions by setting up a remarketing campaigns like this. So if you have any questions, then please start to put in the box on the right hand side. There is a 30-second delay, so if I do cut you off, that means I've not seen your questions. So okay, Amit, you are using Google Analytics but not properly, and you don't know how to use it the right way. Well, you start with this. Keep things simple, and you can make it as complicated as you like. But even by doing these few things, you will be way above your competitors. And if you are struggling with that, get in touch with me, and we can set it up for you, or we can teach you on a one-to-one basis. Okay. Bashkar, I plan to start lead generation agency. Okay, well done, and congratulations on starting something in these tough times. But you need to take on a challenge no matter what. And if you are focused on your goals, like we are over here, you will achieve them, because this makes it crystal clear what's happening and what's not happening on your site. Amit, you're asking what's the method to separate the audience? Well, I've separated them out. This is my most valuable audience. You have to set up goals in Google Analytics, and from there we take on the audiences. So in Analytics, we set up goals, audiences, event tracking, and this is in conjunction with Google Tag Manager. So you will need to set this up the right way, and once it is set up, you don't need to touch it. And I've just separated out the least valued audience and the most valuable audience. So this is how we track and set up our audiences using micro and macro goals in Google Analytics. So I hope we're just about not running out of time, but I do appreciate your valuable time as well. Okay, Sandy, you're saying, Google Analytics will not give you any customer information. Absolutely not, because they have not signed up. And that's what we want them to do, is to either become a lead or a customer. How you are going to do that is being able to track with these remarketing campaigns by that audience, because they are cookied in or pixeled in. And I know that this pink audience is my most valuable. I'm going to bid the most aggressive, and this is how we target and get these people back onto our website to take the actions which we want them to take. So thank you so much, everyone, for being with me today. And I'll be back tomorrow, same time at 5 o'clock UK time with some other stuff. In the meantime, if you would like to ask me any questions, I'm going to be starting going live on Instagram, where we can have a conversation. You can ask me a few questions, and all you need is a smartphone and just have your Instagram account logged in, and we can have a conversation. You can ask me any questions you like. I know you can ask questions over here as well in text format, but that would be in video. So we're going to have a little very informal chat if you have any questions or concerns. So Sandy, what time it is starting? Ping me a message at info@sfdigital.co.uk, and I'll set up a time and a schedule to suit both of us. So that's it for today, friends. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye for now.